Hello again. So, our next topic is related to interest rate of return, and MARR. So, by definition, interest is equal to the end amount minus the original amount. So, that is the interest. So, like for example, the end amount is 20 pesos and the original amount is 10 pesos. So, the interest is 10 pesos. So, interest rate, on the other hand, we have the formula. Interest rate or rate of return is equal to the interest accrued per time unit over the original amount times 100%. So, like for example, the interest rates, may example niya is like for example 3%, 7%, whereas the interest is in the amount. Like for example 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, and so on and so forth. And then, so now I have here, this is a picture that shows mga mingon sila nga ang sakit sa puso nung ikaw na nga ang nagpautang at nagmagandang loob tapos ikaw pa ang nahihirapang maningil sa sariling pera mo. Whereas this might be true in real life. So, na mga instances wherein someone borrowed money from us, and then if time comes na we would like to get the money that was owed to us, so the borrower will not give us the amount that was expected at the time duration that was decided. So, muna siya. And then, so, also here in the right side portion, we have the interest rates available for some major banks in the Philippines. So, natay, if we intend to deposit money for these banks, like for example in BPI, in BD, or in Metro Bank, in the old rate, so if we say for example we will deposit 100 pesos, so ang iyang equivalent na interest rate is 0.25%. So, in the new rate daw, gipamupan pa daw siya from 0.25%, gihimo siya 0.125%. So, for example, yung 100,000 mo, worth 97,425 pesos na lang next year. Yung 1 million will only be worth 974,250 by next year. So, di ba na difference from 100,000 nemo na lang 97,425, or ang 1 million nemo na lang 974,250. Ang difference sa to niya mo to siya ang kaning supposedly ang interest, but nahimo og anong dili man sila pareha. So, ang time value of money niya is different na. So, ang value sa imong 1 million sa karon will be dili na siya 1 million by next year. Depreciate na ang iyahang value. So, I said earlier about how to, when you deposit your money in the bank, it's a different scenario when the bank allowed you to borrow money in a form of a credit cards. So these are some major credit cards that are available in the Philippines. Like for example, we have the Union Bank, we have the East West, the Metro Bank, the BPI, and all. So like for example, we say in Metro Bank. So in Metro Bank, the bank offered 0.125% when you deposit money. So, mo increase na imong money by 0.125%. Whereas, if you will borrow money sa Metro Bank daw, ang imong giborrow na money, like for example, nagborrow ka 1,000 pesos, bayaran nimo siya with an additional of 3.5% monthly. So, see the difference between depositing money in the bank and when you borrowed money in the bank in a form of a credit card. There's a really big difference, diba? So, choose wisely what to do. And then, in the rate of return formula, we have here the current value minus the original value over the original value times 100%. It is the rate of return. So, it's as simple as that definition. And then the MAR, or the minimum acceptable rate of return, this is the definition. So the interest rate, or the rate of return expected on investment, would normally include a reasonable profit. So MAR is the rate of return or rate of interest for analysis of alternative. The expected rate of return should be equal to or greater than MAR for an alternative to economically viable. So natay kanina formula or kanina comparison, RRR must be greater than or equal to MAR, while MAR must be greater than the cost. So MAR is the minimum limit of rate of return that an investor having in mind while investing funds in a project. So when you identify the cost, you also when you identify all the possible costs in a project, so you identify the capital outlay, you identify the maintenance, and then overhead expenses, and then afterwards you set the minimum acceptable rate of return. Say for example, the acceptable rate of return that you have in mind is 50%, so that your rate of return must be more than 50%. So like for example, yung kaog, ang rate of return niya is 60%, 70%, or more, it's more than 50%. So I have here a joke. So ibibigay ang pera sa lalaki, si bakla daw. And then si lalaki, lulustayin ang pera para sa babae. Whereas si babae, magpapaliban sa bakla. There is a return of investment. But here in this scenario, there's no change in the profit. It's not stated. I mean, it says here that the amount of money that was given by bakla is the same amount of money that was given by the lalaki to the babae. And the same amount of money is given to the bakla as the services rendered for the rebond of hair rebond. So, but if we say that ang babae nagpa-rebond, like for example, si bakla naghatag og 1,000 kang lalaki. Like for example, si bakla nag-render of service for rebond and ang babae nagbayad og 1,500, then the profit or the return of investment is 500 pesos kaya it's more than the 1,000 peso. Mo na siya ang kanakwan. But if it is equal, then same lang, na-return lang ang same money. There is no profit, there's no interest that are earned. And then we have here the equivalence. So, in equivalence, the value of money or the value of your money can be different 10 years from now. Say, for example, here we have a grocery cart. In 2021, say, average, when you purchase groceries in a supermarket, so purchasing groceries in one cart would cost you from 3,000 to 5,000 pesos. So, in 2021, ang imuha daw 5,000 pesos, makapalit na ka og isa ka dako nga card. By 2031, it might be nga ang ang imuhang 5,000 pesos, isa na lang ka cellophane, isa na lang ka basket. It will not be isa ka card. Same before, kung sa una daw, magpalit ka og 1,000 pesos sa grocery, ang push cart mapuno pa. But karon ang 1,000 pesos nimo, isa na lang ka cellophane ang mapuno niya. Also true sa itong pansit canton, sa mga estudyante na hilig magpansit canton para sa mga overnight o mga tripping sa grupo sa unang wala pang COVID, o even karon nga kanang pang-snack na lang ang pansit canton while nagklase. So in 2011 daw, ang cost daw sa pansit canton is 10 pesos. But karon, ang cost na sa pansit canton is 15 pesos. And if magpaluto pa kita sa gawas, ang pansit canton will cost about 20 to 25 pesos na daw, including ang service sa pagpaluto. So there is a really big difference. In the right side bottom figure, it shows here a Nokia phone. 13 years ago, this phone is worth the bonuses. Like for example, this phone amounts to 35,000 pesos when it was first marketed in the Philippines. But now, this cell phone may may be sold to, say for example, less than 1,000 pesos. So, or kung the phone is still working but maybe karon dili na siya gina market unless ang iyahang market is vintage na kanang mga phones ang market niya. So imagine the difference in the value from, like for example, when first it was marketed until now with the rise of smartphones.